Alrighty guys, what's going on everybody? Hope everyone is having a fantastic Tuesday evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Glad to have y'all here for another update, my friends. So, we do got ourselves a couple storm systems we are going to be looking out there for tonight. We'll be looking out there for them. We are continuing to watch the potential of that cold core storm setup here, as well as the potential of a southern storm system actually to drive a bit of rainfall and maybe some flooding, maybe severe weather. But anyways, we'll definitely be diving into that here in a moment. Anyways, before we dive on into it, let's go and give a warm welcome to the people in chat. We got ourselves Aiden, we have Brooklyn. Let's see here. We have Supercell, we have Caden, we have Rain, we have Tiffany, we have Courtney. Let's see here. Kimberly, we have Kim, Wyatt, Ponderosa, SPC, MP. Let's see here. And did I already see Crystal? What's up, Crystal? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. Lee Yap. Hope you're doing all right. Glad to have you here. But anyways, my friends, we'll hope everyone's doing well this evening. Let me go ahead and change some of the things. I didn't have time to change my scenes real quickly. So first of all, let me fix the date. We're not on February 5th anymore, I can tell you that one. We are on February 6th, almost February 7th. And let me turn that threat down to level 2 because we don't have a level 4 anymore. So let me go ahead and fix that real quickly. Here we go. Okay, we are all set. Let's see here. But what's up, everybody? Hope everyone's doing good. So, a little update right now. We're going to hop over to current radar view. I want to go ahead and show you guys. Obviously, like I said, it's obviously good to understand what's happening right now before we, dive into the future. It's obviously good to see what's happening in current moment. And as you can tell, we do have ourselves a lot of precipitation still kicking off across the west here. We've been seeing ourselves a lot of catastrophic flooding out there by California, especially the southern side by Los Angeles. Oh my gosh, yeah, we've been seeing some nasty storms, nasty flooding out in that region there. Definitely is a big, definitely is a big issue. The foothills of Hollywood has actually reported to be, right there, right around 6 to 12 inches. 6 to 12 inches of rain. Not snow, rain, which is actually pretty crazy. We're continuing to see a bit of rain out in those regions there. A lot of moderate, heavy rainfall that is, kind of kicking off in some of those regions there. And we're starting to see a lot of upper-level snowfall, towards like Utah, obviously Idaho. We have Wyoming, Colorado. We have portions out there by like New Mexico and Arizona. But anyways. What's up, Wyatt? Hope you're doing good, man. What's up, Jill? Good morning, or good evening. For me, it's morning, but... Anyways, let's see. Las Vegas, Nevada is where I live. Getting rain though. Gotcha. Yeah, no, we are seeing a bit of rain out in some of those regions there for sure. But then we work our way to the east, guys, and once we work our way out here towards the central and eastern country, you can see it's relatively clear. We do have that low pressure system that was just over the southeast. You can see it's now after just north of the Bahamas. That storm system is pretty much done. You can see the remaining precipitation coming down, but it's kind of missing the coast here for the most part. That'll continue tracking east, actually slightly northeast, as we're going to see on the models. This thing's going to go up here towards maybe even out there by near Bermuda. Potentially could cause a bit of rainfall for some of those regions there. But anyways, yeah, we'll definitely we'll see that on the models here in a minute. But a lot of the country is pretty dry, but that's not going to last too long. That's not going to last too long. This high pressure ridge we have here is going to be rolling out here pretty soon. Kind of sad your tornado light isn't on. There you go. Does that make you happy? Yeah, I forgot to turn it on. Anyways, but yeah, no, a lot of that high pressure is going to be rolling out here pretty soon. So let's go ahead and hop over to models. Let's go and take this one step in the future. Just wanted to obviously go over things with you guys, just showing you, what's currently going on, because, it's very important to understand what's currently happening before we look at the future. Just kind of common sense there. Anyways, looking here at the GFS model. So once again, we have that low that we were just talking about just north of the Bahamas. That's currently right there. A lot of snow. It's hard to see. A lot of snow up there in those upper elevations, and continuously seeing a bit of rainfall some areas out there to the west. So we work our way down in time here. We're actually getting another low pressure system to develop here right around the 7th and the 8th. So basically for tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, we are going to be getting ourselves another area of low pressure to develop across the central northern plains, which will be popping off here. A bit of snowfall potential, carrying all that moisture. Because, like I said, we have all that moisture we were talking about. And this low pressure system developing is basically going to be taking all of that moisture and feeding it into the system. And in this case, this will actually allow for the potential of a bit of snowfall to occur across north and south, maybe South Dakota. Not a whole lot per se. The most of the snow is going to be out there towards Canada, towards the southern side. So this is more of a Canadian snowstorm. But on this event here, we're going to have the potential of maybe a bit of cold core, severe weather. I think it's possible. The models actually seem to be downtrending a little bit, which is good news, obviously. But we do still have the models. We do have NAM now that does pick up a bit on it there. I was actually looking at it before we went live here today. You can see that the supercell composite still showing the ingredients necessary for potential severe weather. It seems like it's gone a little bit more to the south now, which is good news since the mid-range models are starting to come in. Because looking at it yesterday and the day before, we were still in long-range guidance. Now we're in mid-range guidance, which things computers can much process this data much better and put a higher resolution on it in order to give us a better overall view. It still seems like it's still going to happen, but it looks like it's going to be a little more further south. Still getting up there possibly towards southern Illinois, out there by Michigan and stuff like that in Ohio. Like I was saying beforehand, if you guys remember me saying yesterday, I'm not too confident on those areas, and it turned out to not really be in favor. So that's good at least. I mean, at least for right now from what the models are saying. But yeah, the instability and stuff like that will work its way in here. Let me go ahead and I need to move this so I can actually see. My face was in the way. I have a little screen on my camera, and it's pointing right at me, so I had to change it so I can actually see the winds and stuff, or the products here. So instability-wise, with the storm system, the NAM, like I was saying, man, when it comes to it, NAM is much better at telling how much instability potential we could have. It's definitely much better than the GFS. Like I was saying, the GFS model is not really the best of the models to look at for instability or a capping inversion, which in this case, there is still a good amount of instability here. I mean, actually a little more than what the GFS was overall saying. I mean, we could have some pockets above 600-700 potentially, which, is not a whole lot in terms of storms, but it is, in this case, it's actually pretty decent. So we'll have to watch out there for that. Once again, this is here for basically very late Friday, this is basically early Saturday with this pool of instability that will be over Missouri, Arkansas, and some of those other areas out there. Now the winds, on the other hand, that's where I'm a little concerned about. Now the winds, obviously, as you can tell here, right where that instability is, we're seeing about 35, 40 knots here. in which, like I said, that is supportive, for some supercells. But like I said, I'm not too sure if these storms are going to be too elevated or not. We're still kind of waiting to see that. I don't think much of a tornado concern is going to be much of a problem. I think it's mostly, like I said before, I think it's mostly going to be in the realm of wind concern. Overall, so we'll have to just, keep an eye out there for that. But yeah, if we take a look here at the broad view of things, we'll go ahead and zoom back out here to the country. You can see as we work away, well, not quite to this point, but as we continue going down, we're going to get a little bit of a dip in the jet stream over like the Midwest, which is going to allow for, amplified jet stream speeds. As you can see, around mid-level atmosphere, I mean, we're talking a very decent, actually a very strong jet stream. We're talking moving about like 70, maybe 50, anywhere from 50 to 70 knots, which is basically around like 55 to 80 miles an hour, basically, roughly in those areas. So it's definitely a pretty fast-moving jet stream, in which that will definitely allow for any instability that's available that we're looking at, basically the thunderstorm juice. With all that thunderstorm juice and all those winds that are over it, that will allow for the organization of storms to occur, which is definitely good. Now, another thing, obviously, is very important is your dew points. In this case, it looks like the dew points have gone up a little bit. We were seeing a lot of mostly like upper mid 40s, kind of mid upper 40s. Now it seems like those dew points are going to be relatively in the mid 50s, maybe even upper 50s, and some areas could actually break the 60-degree dew points. Which, typically for severe weather, you want those dew points to be basically 60 degrees Fahrenheit and above. Just to give those storms enough moisture at the lower levels in order to get things rolling. In which, in this case, we do have that. Get it, dew. Dew points, dew. Oh, gosh. I always make the dew point jokes, man. But we do, no pun intended, have enough moisture at the lower levels to actually cause this to happen. Let's see. HRRR has severe weather ingredients higher than northeastern Iowa Thursday. I seen Thursday that there was a potential. I didn't, however, look at the model. Let me look at the Zero Zulu. Oh, wow. Holy cow. Okay. So that could... Wow, dude. That goes all the way up into Wisconsin. That instability, dude. Holy cow. Let's see. That's showing some pockets near 1,000 joules per kilogram with potential instability there. Holy cow. Let's try NAM. Does NAM talk? See, yeah, there's the thing. NAM doesn't show that instability as much. What about RAP? Does RAP show it? Yeah, RAP shows it. So there's 2 out of 3 models that does support this happening. Wow, dude. So we might need to watch out late Thursday. We might need to watch out late Thursday, guys, for like Wisconsin, maybe out there by Iowa, maybe Illinois, maybe even southeastern Minnesota. I mean, let me look at the wind shear here. Yeah, oh, wow, we got a ripping lower level jet. Okay. About 55 knot lower level jet. That is actually considered strong. Mid-level jet stream here too. Yeah, pretty strong too. Wow, we got really strong winds here. That's good for storm organization. Man, isn't that something? See, dew points. Yeah, it's definitely a cold core setup considering those dews are in the lower 50s. Wow. Dude, that's very interesting. Let's go ahead and grab a sounding or two. I really want to sample the atmosphere. We'll just grab a southwestern Wisconsin sounding here. Dude, that's honestly concerning. Oh, wow, dude, those photographs. I mean, considering how strong that wind shear is, look at that. The winds are optimal. Got that changing. So as you start off, so you're in the lower atmosphere, right? The winds are screaming north pretty quickly, actually. And as you go up in altitude, the wind direction changes to the northeast, which could allow for some lower level spin to occur in the atmosphere. In your photograph, you see this big kind of hook to it. That is basically saying that the wind direction's changing and increasing with speed as you go up in altitude. So that is actually really concerning. Like, this is tornadic inducing type of ingredients here. So that, let me see, did the Zero Zulu show this yet? I don't know. Yeah, we're not quite that far yet on that model. Maybe the 15 Zulu shows it, considering it's a longer run. It's going to be right at the end, though, if it does. Yeah, not quite. Yeah, it just doesn't get to that point quite yet. But yeah, no, we'll definitely, let's see here. We'll definitely make, we'll definitely keep an eye out there for this overall. Model shows supercells. I mean, yeah, given that wind shear environment and, like I said, instability, once again, like I said, instability is pretty good, actually, in this case here of Wisconsin and stuff. I mean, it's not like, obviously it's not overkill or anything like that, but it's enough. I mean, we're crossing near 1,000 joules per kilogram with the HRRR saying the same thing. Got a thin line as well coming through. Let me look at the reflectivity here. Shows, wow, that's really interesting. It shows like one, it's got a couple baby cells popping off here. I mean, the environment's there. The environment's definitely there. Let's see, what about the wrap? Curious to see what wrap shows. Yeah, so we got that line that kicks through there. There you go. Huh. Oh, didn't mean to grab a sounding. I do that a lot by accident. What do I think about the southern system? Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that. Yeah, sorry, I was getting a little sidetracked by that, dude. That honestly, I didn't even really pay attention to that too much. I mean, I just kind of looked at where the areas we were paying attention to and kind of moved on. So, anyways, so yeah, like I said, what's currently happening here is obviously across the west. Let me go ahead and pan over here real quickly. We've been seeing a lot of a lot of precipitation across the southwest, and we actually do have ourselves a dip in the jet stream, an area of low pressure that's located across the west here. So our jet stream pattern currently is kind of something like this. We have a low pressure system over the west bringing in precipitation, and out there in the east it's high pressure, which is leading to some pretty nice conditions. I mean, things are relatively calm right now for the central and eastern country. Now the thing is that let's see here. The thing is that once we work our way over here down in time, we're gonna work back over here to the models real quickly. That whole area that whole low pressure system will be tracking its way to the east. I mean, first of all, we're gonna get that new developing low across the north, which is gonna allow for the potential, like I said, of some cold core severe storms, maybe out somewhere in the Midwest, Ohio Valley. Could also extend. Could also extend further down south here to the western southeast and maybe the southern plains. But then later on down in time, as we approach our way to the February 10th, February 11th commute, I've been seeing this on the models, mostly around 11th and 12th. There is actually the potential there of a pretty big rain system to actually occur across portions here of the southeastern United States. And obviously, with that being said, there could be a bit of heavy rain on that, which could lead to some flooding. Obviously, if we have a big soaking event like this, more than likely, most of the times we do have a bit of flooding that does occur in these type of events. Another thing I want to show you guys is the jet stream. Like I said, I can't even rule out severe weather potential on it. I'm not going to rule that out. Actually, we'll just bring it up back on this view. I can't even rule that out, honestly, because as we work our way down in time, as we're about to see here on the GFS, we'll go ahead and zoom back out to the U.S. As we approach the 11th and 12th, we have a massive trough ejection. So basically, we have, like I said, right now we have that big dip in the jet stream we were talking about at the current moment, and a big ridge over the central U.S., which is high pressure, leading to some pretty nice conditions. But yeah, then we work our way down in time. First of all, we get that low pressure system that rolls through. Then another trough comes down, which will actually cause a real big kink in the jet stream, as you guys can currently see. I mean, our jet stream is going to be doing some funky pattern like this. So it's basically coming down, bringing down cold air, shooting it straight down, and then kind of doing a big curve. Now, the problem I see of this is obviously as we track our way down in time, this trough will be going over the southeastern United States. This is right here, once again, for February 11th, February 12th overall. Yeah, so that is definitely a bit of a concern to me. And whatever moisture, whatever instability that could potentially be out there in the Gulf, is going to be shot straight up into the southeastern United States. So, like I said, we have a lot of moisture in the Gulf here around this time, and obviously the winds are pointing to the northeast, so it's basically picking up that instability. Or all that moisture, I should say, and tracking it north. And with that being said, you can see how we have this jet stream over here coming straight up from Canada. So it's bringing down cold air from Canada and aiming it right at the southeast. And meanwhile, we have a lot of that warm air that's being pulled up. So, it's basically a mixing pot here, a mixing zone where we are seeing ourselves a bit of that instability, that potential energy that could be building into those regions. Like I said, I'm still not entirely certain that severe weather will be a big concern, but I'm just saying the winds definitely are there to support it. It just depends on the instability, which you can see at this point here. The instability is a little unfavored. I mean, there's not much instability available yet. But once again, GFS has never really been a good model for looking at instability or anything like that this far out. So that could very well change. I mean, considering how strong winds we potentially could have, how strong those winds could potentially be, that could, the stronger the winds, the more moisture that's going to be ejected from the Gulf into the southeast, which, obviously a cumulative, that could be bringing a bit of issues. What's up, some guy? Hope you're doing good. Glad to have you here. But yeah, so we'll just definitely watch out there for that. I mean, like I said, right now, all I see is a big rain event. Personally, like I said, right now, that's about what I see. I do see a lot of strong winds in this event, though. I will tell you that. As we approach our way down to time here, you can see that the system really does kind of kick off there. We got I wouldn't say a strong lower level jet, but it's kind of modest, modest lower level jet. I mean, if instability was present, the wind shear would potentially support some rotating thunderstorms, but that's, like I said, if we get the instability, if it happens. So that's just kind of what's going on there. But anyways, guys, so yeah, that's kind of what I really wanted to look at there. Let's see. Going to bring up the instability again. Like I said, we're going to have a potential round of severe weather that actually could work its way up there towards towards these regions, actually out there by Wisconsin and Iowa, Illinois. Potentially could be getting a bit of severe weather here come Thursday night. So Thursday night, guys, if you live out in some of those regions there, just heads up, just look out there for that. But the main event's going to be happening here for basically late Friday. It's like I said, it seems like the instability has trended a bit more further south, which honestly, I mean, considering we didn't have much instability to work with up there, and like I said, we were in long-range guidance at that point, it makes a lot of sense. Now, the NAM model, obviously, as we approach our way down in time, you can see how, as we get to the end frame here, which is right at the last frame of this model before it runs out, you can see how the instability is gradually gathering strength and gathering northerly movement overall. So I'm still not, I mean, obviously I still can't rule it out completely, as, there is still some instability that does, work its way up there towards the western Ohio Valley and portions out there by the Midwest and the Tennessee Valley into the southern plains there. So it definitely could be, a potential setup here for sure. That still could occur. Like I said, the winds on this event here too, lower level jet for right around this time. I mean, we're talking, nothing significant. Maybe 30 knot lower level jet, which, it'll organize the storms where they need to do, what they need to do. But like I said, in terms of tornadoes and stuff like that, I'm more worried about the thermodynamics than the kinematics, which kinematics is basically just like wind shear and parcel movement, vector movement. So with that being said, though, like I said, yeah, I mean, basically maybe 30, 40 knot lower level jet there, according to NAM. But it could be strengthening. It could be strengthening overall. So once again, there's that low pressure system up here that's tracking from the southwest to the northeast. That's the storm system that we're really looking out there for, and that's just the one that's going to cause the potential for a bit of severe weather out in these regions here. And once again, instability-wise, the instability really starts to build in here as we work way down in time overall. Let's see. What's up, Overbuilt? Hope you're doing good, man. See, that's where my cousin lives in Illinois. Gotcha. Hopefully spring isn't too bad, but I think this is the start of it. Yeah. I think it has a good amount of potential in this season. I mean, I think it's going to be probably a pretty active season. more than likely. This storm you're talking moving in by this weekend. This one's by basically Friday and Saturday. Actually, even late Thursday. Yeah, like I said, the latest guidance with the short range models and stuff like that we were picking up there on today. It's a little concerning, actually. You can actually see how, I mean, we do have a decent amount of instability that's in a short little open window of the potential there for enough instability to cause some strong to actually severe storms. Not just a wrap, but also the HRRR does pick up on this as well, as we can see there. So we do have ourselves, all of that going on. Even the HRRR, which is, a short-range model, this one is, like I said, this one does actually pick up on a little bit more instability in some cases, but, you take that with a grain of salt. I mean, it's nothing to, take seriously in this case, but yeah, I mean, there's enough potential. There is definitely enough potential here for a bit of severe weather. Which is definitely pretty interesting. Yeah, even supercell composite, which basically mixes, kinematics and thermodynamics, and basically kind of plots it on a, I wouldn't call it really a predictability scale, but a potential scale, I'd call it. And you can actually see how it, does actually, get pretty decent. I mean, I wouldn't call it high, but for up here at this point, supercell composite value of 5. That's pretty high for those areas up there and on all that. Let's see. Well, I see thunderstorms are just rain. Possibly some thunderstorms, man. Yeah, considering you live up there. Do I think the groundhog was right? I don't go off of Groundhog's Day. It's a fun little gag, but I mean, you got to think of it, man. The groundhog looks at its shadow. Or it looks for its shadow, and if it doesn't see its shadow, then that means, well, we're in for an early spring, right? Okay, here's a bit of something. Think of it this way: no matter what season you're in, there's gonna be sunny and cloudy days, and it just so happens that Groundhog Day was a cloudy day over Pennsylvania. How does looking at a shadow have to forecast? And actually, the statistics show it's about 30% accuracy. Somewhere around 30% is how accurate it is. That's less than 50%. That's less than odds would give you if it was a normal 50-50 shot. I mean, it turns out it's more wrong than it is right if you go at a 50-50%. I mean, if it's 50-50, it's wrong as much as it's right. It's less than that. It's 30%. So that means it's wrong more than it's right, which is not something you go off of. Like I said, once again, it looks at its shadow, which it just so happens to be cloudy one day over Pennsylvania. And like I said, that happens no matter what season it is. If it's summer, if it's winter, there's sunny and cloudy days, both seasons. I mean, it happens. It happens. But yeah, it's honestly, Groundhog's Day has nothing to do with weather, in my opinion. I mean, current state, of weather, it really doesn't have much. Am I doing zip codes? No. Yeah, there's no need to do zip codes right now because, there is no defined risk from the SPC quite yet. I don't think they're going to issue it right now anyways, if they do issue it, because, when it comes to it overall, there is, like I said, whenever it comes to it overall, as of right now, I don't think it's going to get anywhere near slight possibility. Honestly, if trends continue with the Illinois and Wisconsin event here for Thursday, I wouldn't be surprised if that definitely does grab a severe threat. I mean, it potentially could. I definitely think it possibly could here overall. But yeah, no, that is what's going on there. But yeah, no, they don't. They issue a 15% risk if they're confident on it being a slight risk or above, because a 15% is equivalent to a slight risk, 15% chance of severe weather. So if they issue a 15%, it's equivalent to a slight risk. In which I don't think this is going to need a slight risk for the cold core setup there. But that's why they haven't mentioned anything. They've talked about it in their description. If you go in their description on the SPC website, you can actually see how they did talk about the system that we've been talking about for a couple days now. Whenever it comes to it, though, like I said, whenever it comes to it, as this does approach within the next 3 days, that will determine if we have a severe weather threat. Let's see here. Marginal risk. Did they issue a marginal? Let's see, day 2, day 3. Yeah, there's nothing for day 3. Yeah, there's no marginal, but I do think, yeah, like I said, potential's too low for a 15% risk for this event. They even say that straight up. I mean, I agree. I definitely don't think it's going to get to that. I think it's going to be mostly, like I said, if it becomes severe, it's going to be marginal. Let's see here. Enzo predictions have been updated lately. Says Polar Vortex. We talked about them. The January 2023 predictions. Yeah, we pulled those up a bit. Let's see here. Yeah, they did update and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and bring this up. Okay. So yeah, there's the latest guidance with the Enzo model. So this is basically just Pacific oscillation in terms of El Nino, La Nina, and right now we're January, February, March. We're kind of in this region here, and lately we were actually in a pretty still a pretty strong El Nino. Models do have this thing crashing down to a neutral condition zone right around April, May, June, which, like I said, I'm thinking we're going to go to, basically, like I said, I think we're going to go to neutral conditions here right around late spring, early summer, which that will bring things back to normal conditions overall. And of course, we continue working our way further down. So as we approach possibly like the tropical season, August, September, October, as we work into those areas, which is tropical season, we'll more than likely either be in a neutral condition zone, a low-end neutral condition, or a weak La Nina by the time we reach hurricane season. If you don't know, like I said, La Ninas, they are very, very active for, like I said, they're very, very active whenever it comes to hurricane season because of weaker trade winds, which allows for the overall cyclones, any tropical system that's trying to form, it allows it to basically, have no problem with development. Now, if you have an El Nino, which is warmer than normal conditions, it increases those trade winds at the equator, or near the equator, and also, basically ruins and rips apart any storms that tries to develop, or some storms anyways, I should say, on average. Let's see here. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're seeing here. Brooklyn said I just want thunderstorms. I hear you. I'd love to look at, or I'd love to see some thunderstorms myself. That'd be pretty nice. That would be pretty nice. All right, let's see. We're gonna take a moment to switch over to true color. Look at that. There's a bit of a spiral there. You see that? That's your low pressure system. Y'all can see it. Where that low is located, right there. That's where your central low is located. Like I said, that was the storm system that drove all that rain and stuff like that from the southeast and all that. And that's moving its way to the east now. And as we work our way down in time, like I was saying, that system's going to continue to roll into the east. It could drive a lot of rain for Bermuda. Low pressure system, pretty strong low pressure system, will go right over Bermuda there. And of course, across the west here, we're going to continue to see a lot of heavy snow in those upper elevations here for the next couple of days. I mean, for today through tomorrow and through the 8th and 9th, it should be mostly dry by the 9th. The afternoon of the 9th should be pretty dry for a lot of those places, but at least until then, it's going to be kicking off. Then that low pressure system develops here right around February 7th, February 8th across the northern plains here, which could cause some snow for southern Canada, and could cause the potential for maybe a bit of severe weather. Cold core setup potential to occur somewhere across these areas and here. It's a possibility. And of course, we work way down and further in time, and we get ourselves, that rainstorm that potentially could develop here for the 11th and 12th, which at that point we're kind of pushing to 6 days out, which, at this point, you can see if we go back in previous model runs, I mean, the last several model runs there does show that rain in the south. I mean, that's pretty much a given at this point here. It's pretty much very confident at this point that we're going to get rain here for the 11th and 12th down in the southeastern United States. And of course, there's been talks of this thing really kicking up in strength. It could potentially be a strong nor'easter, maybe. I don't think it'll do it, honestly, from what I'm seeing right now. Anyways, I mean, it's kind of all over the place, the models. So I wouldn't go that far. As far as I'd look is basically just saying, hey, we're gonna get a bit of rain for the southeast here between the 11th and 12th. That's about as clear as it gets right now. Any early predictions for hurricane season yet? Or will I do a live prediction later in the future? I'll probably do both, but Christy, I think it's going to be above average this year in terms of hurricane season because we are, like we were just talking about, a very important role when tracking hurricane season is the Pacific Oscillation. The Pacific Ocean, the warming of the surface temperatures at the equator has a lot to do with the world weather, including the Atlantic hurricane season. And like I said, I was explaining how in an El Nino, which is temperatures, like I said, which is temperatures that is above normal at the equator than usual, which we're in right now, that would allow for a weaker hurricane season due to stronger winds across the Atlantic, and right now as we approach our way down in the forecast, you can actually see essentially how as we approach like August, September, October, kind of right around hurricane season, we're going to be in the negative. So we're going to be colder than normal at the equator, which is going to allow for weaker winds across the Atlantic, allowing for storms to not have much wind shear. So like I said, when a tropical system tries to develop, you actually do not want winds because you're not much winds. Let's say you want some winds, but not much. If you have too much winds, it basically rips apart those thunderstorms that's trying to develop, and it essentially, destroys the potential. It destroys the event. But when the winds are weak, it allows for organization to gather and allows the storm to slowly put itself together. And in this case, La Nina means that the winds are weaker, which allows for more of those events to occur. So as we approach in, according to model guidance, I mean, the dynamic average, the middle ground of where the models are showing it, it looks like we're going to be in a very weak La Nina, if not a neutral condition zone, as we approach our way into later on this fall, in the summer, which could allow for the hurricane season to be slightly above slightly, if not moderately above normal. Let's see here. But yeah, so that's kind of what we are. That's kind of what we are seeing here overall. Let's see here. Christy coming with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Christy. I appreciate it. They added likes to super chats now. What? Did they really just do that? They literally. They added likes to super chats. Holy cow! Well, thank you, Christy. I appreciate that very much. You certainly did not have to do that. Much appreciated. Thanks for helping us out. Like I said, yeah, it definitely does help me out. Keep these programs running and stuff. And so, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let's see here. I was looking at tornado coverage and this channel popped up my recommended. Well, glad to have you here, man. Hope you're doing all right. See, I didn't know you could hear super chats. Oh yeah, no, you can hear them. Turn up the weather so I can hear this. But yeah, no, you can hear them. Wow, dude, you can. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Well, once again, thank you so much, Christy. Appreciate it. Abstract, thank you for subscribing, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, so like I said, in the immediate future, like I said, we're watching out there for the potential of a cold core setup for potential severe weather that could occur, across some of these areas here. It's still obviously a little unknown for some regions, but with the latest guidance that we've been seeing between the HRRR and the RAP model, actually, with all that potential, it's actually definitely, it's definitely looking a little concerning. I mean, like I said, the instability with HRRR does show a pretty solid amount of instability. I mean, some areas possibly near 1,000 joules per kilogram, but like I said, at that point, take it with a grain of salt because, obviously, specific instability for over 2 days out is a little far-fetched, but it definitely looks like it could be enough. Not to mention, the RAP model also shows that as well. Oh, shoot, I probably should change scenes. My bad, y'all. I know that looked a little weird. Let's go back to HRR real quickly. So yeah, you can see all the instability there, and how it works its way through Wisconsin and possibly even southeastern Minnesota, potentially. But yeah, like I was saying, RAP model, which is another short range model here. This one also shows that's pretty similar amount of instability, with actually really strong winds at the lower atmosphere. So like I said, we have what we call a lower level jet. With northerlies, kind of almost northeasterlies. So the winds are screaming to the north. I mean, this is pretty fast-moving winds at the lower atmosphere, with over that pool of instability. And that could allow for the potential of maybe some tornadoes, actually, considering we have a really strong lower-level jet there. And also, like I said, mid-level jet there, as you can see, is also pretty strong, a little altered more to the south, but there is really strong winds over these areas. So it's definitely a bit of a concern to see. Like I said, we grabbed a couple soundings. I'll grab another one here from RAP, and we'll go ahead and pull this up here. But yeah, the atmosphere, we do have a bit of lower-level rotation, as you can see here on the photographs. Definitely is a little concerning. Thermodynamics are, not terrible, but I've seen way better, obviously. Storm tops will be between probably around 7-8 kilometers or so. That's how tall the storms are going to get. According to the sounding, that's where your EL or your equilibrium level is. So yeah, that's definitely kind of what we're looking out there for. Is the winds are there. Like I said, at the lower atmosphere, there towards the surface, the winds are screaming directly north. As you go up in altitude, about 6 kilometers, the winds at this point are kind of moving to the northeast. So that wind direction change and that wind speed increase as the winds do as we go up in altitude, the winds actually strengthen and they get stronger, which allows for, like I said, the potential for that bit of rotation to occur in the lower atmosphere, mixing in with everything. So, like I said, dew points though in the lower 50s, upper 40s, like that's a cold core setup for you. Dew points in cold core setups are ranging or usually around the 40s and 50s, which it can still happen. Magic can still happen, believe it or not, but it's not too common. Anyways. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. Christy says, great breakdown. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, Christy. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that I could help out. Like I said, obviously, I know I'm not the best teacher, but I try to make things as simple as possible. I mean, from somebody who studied meteorology for many years and has built a dynamic model in my head, basically, of how things work. I basically have. I can look at this event, grab a few things, and I could kind of imagine how this could play out here. In which, obviously, I'm trying to explain what I see. I wish there was a way that, I could show you what I'm thinking of, which is pretty cool. Let's see here. Wednesday, 18 Zulu, low-level jet, Texas. Yeah, no, I did see that lower-level jet there. GFS, really across the southeast, has an amplified, or mid-level jet, I should say. I didn't see the lower level. The lower level looked a little weaker. But yeah, we do have a big trough, a serious dip in the jet stream here for the 11th and 12th. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of instability on it, but the winds are ripping. Super strong winds at the lower and mid atmosphere, most of the mid atmosphere, middle ground. But yeah, here for the 11th and 12th, I mean, we're gonna have some seriously strong winds in our mid upper atmosphere, or really across the atmosphere as a whole. But like I said, the instability seems to be kind of weak, but also on the other hand, this model is not the best to look at with instability. But I will warn you, with whatever instability we do have in the Gulf, we'll easily be starting to, or I should say moisture rather than instability. With a lot of moisture we have in the Gulf here, if the winds are strong enough, which they do seem to be, a lot of that moisture could work its way up into the southeast here, which that's that. Let's see here. What's the Cape looking like for this event? Like I said, not a whole lot. I mean, obviously this far down in time, there's not a lot of Cape at all. I mean, there's literally almost none. But we do have ourselves that pool of instability where all that moisture is at that could maybe draw up into the southeastern United States out there overall. But yeah. But like I said, that's a little far-fetched at this point, and there's not much guidance on it. But once again, like I said, GFS is not the best model to look at instability or thermodynamics in this case. Let's see here. But yeah, the Cape for if you're talking about Thursday, surprising me as well. They actually added a floater up there. Look at that, float 2. Wait, what? That's not the area they put up there. Anyways, but so yeah, so you can actually see how the models like the HRRR and the wrap here we're looking at right now really shows, I mean, a window there for late Thursday of a pretty solid amount of instability, a pretty solid amount of instability there for thunderstorms. Like I said, lower level jet is very strong out there. Mid level jet's pretty strong as well. Pretty, I mean, good enough, I should say. And of course, the moisture levels, dew points are in the 50s, you know, kind of 40, lower, or say upper 40s, lower mid 50s, which, like I said, that's a cold core setup at that point. You know, whenever you have low dew points during a potential severe weather event, you know, that could, you know, make the storm's cold core, or cold core setup, I should say. Let's see here. Do I agree with Reed Timmer's 2024 outlook? Honestly, I mean, I agree that it will be active, but I don't think that you can predict the exact amount of tornadoes like he did. I think that's a little far-fetched. I mean, I love Reed. I love him. He's a good dude, but I don't really obviously I wouldn't go off of an exact tornado number. I mean, that's a little extreme. I mean, because I mean, yeah, it's hard to forecast a week out, let alone climatology for a couple months out. I mean, we can obviously kind of see what could happen, but to pinpoint it down to the mesoscale for each individual storm system, it's hard to give a tornado number. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, no hate against Reed, man. I love him. He's a big inspiration of mine, but, you know, the specific number is a little too much. Let's see here. It's supposed to get in the 70s this week. Yeah, it's supposed to be warm, actually. Let's go and hop over to that. We'll talk about the heat here for a minute. Let's see. Here we go. So here's the map. So I don't know if y'all heard, but, you know, people were saying that it's going to be a big cool down. I don't see it cooling down too much. I mean, I do see a little bit of a cool down potential. You know, as we work way down in time, you can see how things do get a little colder, but this is mid-February, and at this point, we're pushing boundaries of how far we can look into models here. It's not going to be as cold as it once was, I can tell you that. It might get a little cooler than it is now, obviously, but yeah, it's not going to be too bad. I mean, it's going to be cooling down a little bit for the north specifically, but we're going to have a little bit of a warming period before we get that cooling period, and as you can actually see here for basically February 9th, I mean, look how warm it gets across some of these regions. Also, like February 8th, you can see how it gets pretty warm, 40s, 50s, I mean, across a lot of these areas here. And of course, as we work our way down here in time, you know, you can actually see how, you know, for like the afternoon of February 9th, you can see just how warm it gets, man. Definitely gets real warm. Some areas possibly even breaking the 60s in the Ohio Valley. Pretty crazy. Let's see. But yeah. Oh yeah, not like definite numbers, but general more activity. Oh yeah, no, I do think it will be above average. You know, that I will agree on. But like I said, yeah, specific numbers, I don't do that. That's I mean, any scientist knows that you should not just do that. Let's see. Thinking Texas will be a hotspot. Yeah, no, I mean, Texas very well could be. I mean, you got the Gulf there to support all that moisture, which is, yeah, I mean, that's typical Dixie Alley tornadic activity, or severe weather activity, I should say. But anyways, so yeah, like I said, things are going to be warming up a bit, but, you know, cooling down. I mean, it's going to cool down a little bit for the north, but like I said, you know, it's not going to be anything like it was before. What month do I think we'll have most tornadoes? I mean, well, typically tornado season happens like, you know, anywhere from, starts usually in March, goes through April and May. March, April, May, ma'am. That's typically the highest tornadic activity month. I'd personally say probably like, yeah, anywhere from March to May. March to May is basically like the prime time. Not as cold as January. Oh, heck no! You can't compare it. You can't compare how cold it was from January to what it's going to potentially be like here. Yeah, look at this. Here's your temperature anomalies. So this is basically showing us, okay, so here's where we're at right now. So the red is basically saying that, we're warmer than normal. The blue is saying that we're colder than normal. So keep that in mind. Now, this is one model. Like I said, obviously, take this with a grain of salt. We work our way down in time here. I mean, you can see how it's going to be warm, warmer than normal for a lot of the country for the next couple of days. I mean, at this point, we're in February 9th. So it's going to be pretty warm. Out west, though, it's going to be a bit cold, which it has been a little chilly in some of those areas. It's going to be colder than normal, man, but then we work our way down further in time. I mean, you really don't see too much of a cool down. These people are talking about this happening, this massive cool down, but this is, like, really far out. I mean, this is, at this point, this is back in, at this point, we're basically talking, like, kind of late mid-February, which at that point, I don't like looking too far out. Like I said, I only really like looking about like 5 days out, and sometimes longer, unless if I have like a serious amount of support between the models. Back in the 60s, I remember when winters used to be very savage blizzards, real frigid cold temperatures, which is winters are a thing of the past. Yeah, James. No, I mean, obviously I wasn't alive back then, but I mean, even since I've been alive, though, I mean, the winters are not the same anymore. They've been getting warmer, and, it's definitely weird. Like I said, I used to live in Virginia most of my life for about 20 years of my life. I lived up there in Virginia. And, it seemed like once we passed the mid-2010s, that's when the weather started to, like, become different, very different. Like, I mean, if we're talking like late 2000s, even early 2010s, the weather was, winters were crazy. But now it seems like they've changed. I mean, obviously, it really depends on each specific area. I mean, obviously, for each area there, I mean, it's going to be a little different every year than anywhere else. I mean, some areas are going to get more, obviously. Some areas are going to get less, but it's just overall totals. It seems like it's that way. Let's see here. May is the worst month for severe weather. My birthday month. Yeah. It usually starts. Like I said, usually start to see some of those events popping off here, and I should say regularly. Kind of around like late March through April and into May. Let's see. Let's see. Before you know it, which warm up all year round, which works for me. I mean, yeah, not for me. I mean, if you live in Florida, that would be brutal. I mean, we're already warm year round, basically. But no, but it does. It's gotten a couple days pretty cold. Even down here a bit. March is my birthday month. Well, mine's in April, so I'm falling right after you. But anyways, but yeah, so like I said, this cool down thing here is it's far down in time, and if you hear a lot of people screaming about it, I mean, while it's possible, it's not going to be nearly as catastrophic or as crazy, I should say, as it was in January. It's not going to be that serious. Let me actually pull up the CPC, which, if you don't know, is a Climate Prediction Center. This is the actual forecasters. These are the people you should really trust when it comes to this stuff. Because a lot of other people obviously overhype things and all that stuff, which obviously I don't do. I keep everything straight to what weather service people also agree on and stuff like that. And obviously from my education that I've gotten, from all of this. I keep it relatively real, unlike a lot of other people's. But anyways, yeah, Climate Prediction Center. Let's go ahead and hop over there real quickly. So this is basically, the climatology outlook here. So we're going to start off with temperatures. So 6 to 10 days from now. So basically next week, essentially, a week from now. According to the CPC, we could see ourselves a bit of colder conditions down there. Across the west, a lot of potential troughing, a little bit of cooler air coming down from the north. Same thing for the south as well. It could be a bit more cooler. Up north, though, towards like the upper Midwest here and possibly the northern Ohio Valley and the northeast, potentially, like I said, potentially could be pretty warm pretty warm here for days 6 to 10. And of course, whenever it comes to the precipitation, once again, this is day 6 to 10. Precipitation-wise, actually, it's gonna be pretty dry across the west. Actually, yeah, pretty dry across the central eastern country. But classic El Nino, though, like I was saying, whenever we looked at this last year, you can see how we still have that jet stream that's gonna go over the south, or at least some portions of the south, that subtropical jet. Which will allow for a bit more above average precipitation out there for days 6 to 10 across like Texas and possibly even Florida and a little area up there in the northern plains, but not too much above normal. So that's within the next like I said, the next 6 to 10 days. We do have ourselves days 8 to 14, so 8 to 14 days from now. It's actually going to be relatively cooler across the country. As we were talking about, yeah, like I said, the cool down will likely happen. But like I said, it's not going to be as crazy, I don't think, as as it was in January, as a lot of people are hyping it up to be. Which, of course, like I said, it is going to be slightly cooler, I think. Also across the mountains, for the most part, it'll be a little bit cooler. But out towards the west, like towards coastal California, coastal Washington State, coastal Oregon, it is going to be a little more above normal from what the CPC or the Climate Prediction Center has to talk about that. And also, like I said, this is the day 8 to 14 marker, so 8 days from now to 14 days from now. So basically, you can see kind of like next week, later next week, into the week after. In terms of precipitation, the west is going to be once again very active with precipitation, and a lot of the central eastern country is going to be pretty dry. It looks like. Also, the upper northwest here could be a little bit drier than normal too. So what I see happening here is, like I said, once again, that subtropical jet just rolling across the southern country, keeping everything pretty dry up here, and everything pretty saturated down south. So that's really what I see there. Let's see. What's up, Carr? Hope you're doing good. Rain says yes. Andrew, straight to the facts. Yeah. Like I said, I don't like hyping things up, honestly. I mean, if I say something on my channel, I mean it. That's what's gonna happen. I mean, I don't make things up. Never have, never will. I mean, you can't make up weather because that's just people have PTSD with weather. I totally get it, man. And anytime there's people hyping things up that won't actually happen just for clicks, it's super annoying. It's super annoying. I know a lot of weather YouTubers that do this. I'm not saying their names. Obviously, I'm not creating drama, but like I said, man, just be careful where you get your weather from, because there is people that are obviously going to be, overhyping for the clicks, and it's ridiculous. Let's see. Worst case temperatures will be about 10 degrees below normal. I mean, even then, it's a little questionable. I mean, like I said, this is one model that we were looking out there for. I mean, yeah, obviously the CPC did talk about that cool down for like mid-February, which it seems quite likely, quite possible, I would say, rather than likely. But yeah, it goes out a little too far. Let's see here. How bad is it going to be at Houston? There's really nothing crazy we're expecting for Houston. Let's see here. We're going to hop down to the south. Yeah, like I said, we're going to have the potential maybe for a bit of storms out there towards Texas. You said Houston, right? So yeah, Houston area, obviously being there towards coastal Texas. This model doesn't go quite far. I was trying to try NAM model. The NAM does show a bit of instability working its way here towards kind of late Friday, Saturday. But even then, it doesn't seem like much instability is available. It really comes down to local areas here that could potentially see a couple thunderstorms, but yeah. Let's see here. Even though my area has mild winter at times, I'm still ready for heat and humidity to hurry to get here. Yeah, honestly, I'm with you. I'm ready for it to change. I'm ready for the cold to go away. I mean, personally, it's crazy to hear me saying that, because I love the cold air, but, I don't want it hot either. I don't want it cold. Like, just bring me, like, springtime where, like, an average day is, like, 70, 80 degrees, and I'll be fine. That's perfectly fine. But once you go lower than, like, 60, I mean, 60s isn't bad. Once you get down, like, in, like, the 50s and stuff like that and lower, it gets pretty cold. And whenever you get above 80, it's like it starts to get a little too warm, in my opinion. The Goldilocks zone for me is like between 60 and 80 degrees is like the Goldilocks zone for me. What I like, temperature-wise. You know, if it's in like the low 70s, that is like perfect conditions. My favorite weather conditions obviously would be I'd say low 70s, overcast day. Because in my opinion, I mean, a lot of you are probably going to hate me for this. My opinion, sunny days are overrated. They are very much overrated. I love overcast days. I love it where the sky is gray and dull. I know it sounds very depressing, but no, but I do like overcast days. They're pretty nice to have every once in a while, or more than sun, I should say. Let's see. The storm's supposed to hit Oklahoma this weekend. No, probably not. I mean, there's a few little pockets of instability, but I don't see anything crazy. I don't like air temperature below 80 degrees. Says that's fair. That's fair. I can see your standpoint on that. But me, I like it a little cooler than that. But obviously, living in Florida is not the best for that per se. It does get pretty. It does get pretty crazy. So it's been overcast longer than 3 days. Oh yeah, at that point, then you need a little break. Yeah, you need about like 2/3 overcast and 1/3 sunny. That's like the perfect ratio. I'd even settle with 3/4 overcast, 1/4 sunny. But anyways, y'all. But yeah, like I said, we'll just continue watching the South Storm 2. Once again, at the current moment, the winds, according to models, are going to be pretty strong at the lower elevations there. Whenever it comes down to it, it looks like we could get a lot of rain there, as you guys can see on the screen here for pretty much the 11th and 12th. It is a couple days away, so we'll have to continue watching the guidance of it. But, the reason I'm really talking about it is, look, last several models, not just of GFS, but models in general has been talking about this bit of rain for a couple or several model runs, I should say. Let me pull up Euro. Curious to see what the Euro has to show us here with that severe, or with that not severe, but the rainstorm down in the south here. Let's see, which I'm pretty sure it did show it. There's a couple of the models that did. Yeah, no, there you go. Don't trust that either. Europeans just doing some crazy. That looks like what does that look like? That's interesting. Quite a bit of a line there, according to ECMWF. But yeah, no, it's going to be happening between the 11th and 12th. I mean, both main models talk about this rain across the south, and they've been talking about it for a little bit. So at this point, it's like, yeah, it's gonna happen, but how much and where, 100%, we don't really know yet. Andrew, you and I have talked about it before. I am just like you as far as heavy overcast days are way nicer than sunny days. I like it around 80 degrees to upper 80s with 60% to 70% humidity. Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. I don't like 90s, though. 90s is where it gets too much for me, personally. But anyways, so this will be taking place once again, y'all, between the 11th and 12th. Just as a heads up, like I said, once again, models does a little crazy thing here. Like I said, I wouldn't go off of that right now. Next thing you know, you're going to be hearing everything you don't know about this breaking ice storm. You're going to be hearing it here. Nah, it's just one model run being dumb there. I don't think that'll hold out. Let's see, GFS here. GFS didn't even talk about it. Yeah, GFS takes this to a different approach, though. It takes this system to go up towards the mid-Atlantic and possibly causing snow, but there's only like 1 or 2 model runs that showed that, which I need at least like 4 to 6 model runs showing the same thing before I start tagging along. Let's see here. But yeah. John says, thanks, Andrew, no problem. Preferences of anything like 90 to 100 degrees during the daytime. Oh, no, thank you. That's too hot for me. That's way too hot for me. Mid-upper 70s, low 80s during the night. See, I'm the opposite. I like the nighttime temperatures for a daily high. And lower, I like uppers, high temperatures as far up as like the lower mid-80s. And as low as like the mid-60s probably. Do I hate humidity? Not too much, honestly. You know, humidity doesn't bother me too much. I mean, I'd rather have humid heat than dry heat, personally. That's me. I do like humid heat better. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I mean, obviously, I know a lot of you guys are different, which I respect that. All right, let's see here. But yeah, we're gonna be wrapping it up here pretty soon, guys. We've been live for over an hour. I got a couple things I gotta do around the house here. Like I said, this is my version of the morning. I woke up. I hate to say this, but I woke up at like 7 p.m. today. Yeah, woke up at like 7 p.m. today. Dude, my sleep schedule, like I said, I've been covering these nighttime events here, and I'm on night shift, man. I'm on night shift. I keep on saying it every stream, but I am. It's like I'm awake during the night, all night, and then I'm asleep during the day all day. And, you know, for weather streaming, it's very unfortunate because, you know, during some events you have to be up during the day, and in some events you have to be up during the night, which, you know, really messes with your schedule. And the things I do for you guys. I'm kidding. I really do enjoy doing it. I love it. I really do. You know, helping you guys out anytime there's crazy weather heading in. I mean, no matter what time of day it is, night, day, I will, you know, I'll always be there to cover with you guys any crazy weather that's going on. Let's see here. We're not going to do zip codes. Like I said, yeah, zip codes today. There's no specific risk area quite yet. Once the risk area gets established, if it does, then we'll do zip codes, and I'll tell you if you're in the risk area or not. But right now, it's still a little up for grabs. Prefer humidity over dry heat because one thing, dry heat is extremely dangerous because it doesn't feel as hot to your body as humidity does. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, dry heat, it takes all the moisture out of you. You know, that's the thing, is dry heat. I mean, it'll absorb all that, all of your moisture. Yeah. But anyways. Well, alright, you guys. Well, if y'all have any final questions before we roll off that's not zip codes, let me know. Like I said, I'll be here to answer a question or two if y'all have any after stream Q&A. But yeah, if there's any questions y'all might have or anything like that, yeah, feel free to let me know. Like I said, you know, we're not doing zip codes though because, you know, once again, there's no risk established yet. And there's no risk area yet established by the official forecasters. So we're waiting on that if they do it. Like I said, personally, if this thing goes severe, it's going to be marginal more than likely. Like I said, it could even be just a thunderstorm threat, which honestly I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a TSTM risk. But you know, I do think that there is a like I said, I definitely do think that there is. I love it when you forget what you're talking about. Shoot, dude, I have those moments every once in a while. You gotta love it. Let's see here. What's my favorite tornado outbreak? None of them are my favorite. I don't like any tornado outbreak. Yeah. Of all time for research purposes. Okay, research purposes, like for gathering information. It's got to be a classic. 2011, late April 27th, I think. 2011. Can we do another Q&A live stream and have a party? Maybe, possibly. I could do that. Maybe like Friday night, we'll do a Q&A stream and. Where it's not so serious all the time. I mean, obviously, it's still going to be on the topic of weather for the most part, but yeah, no, we could do something like that. Yeah, we haven't done something like that in a hot minute, so that'd be that'd be pretty cool. All right, you guys. Well, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up here for now. Once again, everybody, thank you all for being here. So special thank you to our mods for modding the channel. Thanks so much, mods. And special thank you to our donator for today. We did have a single donator today, but that's more than appreciated. Thank you so much, Christy, for the donation, my friend. Greatly appreciated. And definitely, like I said, none of y'all have to donate. None of y'all have to do any of that. It's greatly appreciated. So, to the person who did support us, thank you so much, Christy. Big shout out goes to you. Also, if you guys do want to support us and you do want to get some cool merchandise, we got some really, really cool stuff here. I'm going to show you guys it real quickly. Let's see here. like I said, I did do a lot of stuff to the page here. I'm going to end up adding more. But we got ourselves a lot of cool stuff, man. Look at this. We got some hats, tie-dye hats, different colors. All kinds of cool stuff here. I mean, it's definitely pretty neat. Like, this one looks like the sky. You can see, like, the different colors. It's pretty cool. That's the sky theme one. We have the hat I'm wearing literally right now that's on my screen. We have this one in different colors. We have gray. We have, let's see, khaki. We have navy. All kinds of different colors. We have the official shirt here, 2023 edition. I do need to change that. Different colors. You know, a lot of different colors here if you guys want to check those out. We got the polos. I have a polo here, and mine's the blue one. I also got a black polo. So get one just like I have, and all that cool stuff. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll go ahead and post, or I'll just put the merch link down there. There you go. You guys can see that. The merch link will be right under, right under my my text. There you go. So you guys can check all that out. But of course, Nightbot comes in with the merchandise right as I did that. So those links, those last 3 links that are in the chat, you guys can check that out. That is our merchandise. And but yeah. But all right, you guys. Well, you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. We're gonna go ahead over here to the ending screen, my friends. Once again, thank you so much, Christy, for the donation. Really appreciate it. And all right, guys. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Also, sometimes YouTube does not. Or sometimes YouTube unsubscribes you from the channel by itself, I've noticed. So make sure that just go ahead and double check and see if you're subscribed. If you're not, because obviously, yeah, YouTube's pretty dumb in that aspect sometimes of unsubscribing people. So, but anyways, all right, y'all. Well, you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Once again, stream's gonna head off here in about 2 minutes, or approximately 2 minutes. So. You know, like I said, go ahead and say your final goodbyes to your friends, family, anybody you're hanging out with in the chat there. And once again, yeah, if you want to, guys, consider looking at the merch page. We got some pretty cool stuff on there. And all right, well, yeah, we'll be recycling the merch here pretty soon. So, you know, get it while the supplies last, as they always say. All right, y'all. Y'all take care. Much love to you. We'll catch you tomorrow for another update. And we'll see you then. All right, guys. Much love. See ya later on. Peace out, my friends. Catch you tomorrow.
Malibu, Lake Los Angeles, Acton, Redwood, Burbank, Mount Wilson, Pasadena, Griffith Park, North Hollywood, Universal City, Palmdale, Santa Clarita, Alhambra, Van Nuys, Hollywood, Downtown Los Angeles, Northridge, and Beverly Hills. http://www.weather.gov/safety/flood turnaround. Don't drown when encountering flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur in vehicles. Be especially cautious at night when it is harder to recognize the dangers of flooding. Be aware of your surroundings and do not drive on flooded roads. Please report observed flooding to local emergency services or law enforcement and request they pass this information to the National Weather Service when you can do so safely. This is a marine weather statement for the following inner waters from Point Mugu to San Mateo Point, California, including Santa Catalina and Santa Barbara Islands. Thunderstorms possible over the coastal waters through tonight. An unstable air mass will move over the coastal waters on Tuesday, bringing the threat of thunderstorms through Tuesday night. Any thunderstorms that develop will be capable of producing brief heavy rain, gusty and erratic winds, localized steep seas and dangerous cloud-to-surface lightning. Also, there is the potential for isolated waterspouts. For more information, continue to monitor